Well, I had to make the thing with the thing, and welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk, another rousing rendition, Week 3 in the NFL. Of course, bringing you all the Fantasy League, DFS, wagering, and seated across from me, matriculating on your camera from, left to right, east to west. We don't even know. We don't have a compass in here or anything, but I know that the Maz has shown up once again. He keeps showing up on Sunday mornings. I don't understand why. He just comes in, hey, are we ready?
Knock on the door, baby. 9:30, let me in. Good morning, everybody. It's football Sunday.
Yeah. Man, we are too loud. I mean, I'm telling you, we are just like loud, booming voices. That's what I get. That's what I get for getting really good microphones for us. That's what it is. It's all these DJ microphones that I have. These SR71s, the Sures, and the what do I got here? I got the. I've got an AKG, which, by the way, is really nice powered microphone. Back when we did the Gonzo Radio studio back in Boca Raton, when we were really going at it, I really had to have the pro quality materials. But man, we got a lot to really get to. Wait, because seated all by himself, he's all alone. His side, he's taking the middle chair too. He took over the middle chair.
That's right.
He wants the big piece of chicken too.
I'm not dealing with this little seat.
we get show him the booster though. Show him the booster for when Andrew gets it. Go ahead. No. Just pick up the.
Oh, I guess I can do it that way.
No. The pillow,
the booster.
The pillow.
Oh, my bad.
Put John back in the small chair.
That's
man.
good stuff.
Back in the small chair.
That's good stuff.
Here we go, baby.
Back at nobody puts.
We got the Kevin Hart. We got the Kevin Hart for him.
Oh wow, good one.
I hope he's watching on YouTube while he says 11 minutes away. By the way,
okay.
I just got the
then
text
he's probably 12 minutes.
Big show today.
I handle everything. Huge show today. So Maddie, since you have obviously elbowed your way past me and you have now taken over the producer and director. Well, I'm the director. You're the producer. So what do we got, Mr. Producer?
Man, we got football. Obviously, it's the third week of the season, so there's a lot going on, a lot of storylines. We got a lot to talk about. Basically, we're going to be talking about, like you mentioned, some DFS, some gambling.
Kick rocks.
Kick rocks. That's coming up just in a few minutes.
Everybody's kicking rocks today.
Oh yeah, there's some key games we're going to talk about. We're going to break down. There's definitely a lot to get into. But let's get started. Okay. Rock solid. Kick rocks, guys. Okay, this is what we're talking about this week. Coming into this year, okay, we had some teams that were everybody's darlings. Okay, teams that were good last year, and coming into this year, rosters were pretty much either the same or better. They had high expectations. So a couple of teams we'll talk about. Chiefs, obviously. Okay, Eagles, Buffalo, and Cincy. All these teams this year, they're at different stages. Only week 2. I don't want to overreact and say that, their play to this point defines who they are. Because as we know, at least in my opinion, every 4 weeks or so, the NFL looks a little bit different. The landscape changes.
Yes, true.
So to this point, looking at these few teams, the Chiefs, the Eagles, Buffalo, and Cincy, versus the field, okay? Which of these teams, which side are you taking essentially to go all the way?
Oh, the field.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, field.
Chiefs, Buffalo, Cincy, and Indy?
Yeah. See, okay, listen, the Chiefs. Let's talk about them. Start the year 1-1. Obviously, they weren't, completely healthy week 1, missing
right.
Kelsey, missing Jones. Got those boys back last week. Obviously, Chiefs got a W, right? They looked pretty good. But I'm going to say this. For the Chiefs, they've never really had that consistent running game. You've had a lot of guys come up through, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now they got Pacheco. And it's always expectations for these running backs to do more than what they usually do. Now, I guess if you have Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback, you can put everything on his shoulders and guarantee a win.
Plus Kelsey, yeah.
Again, at least your horses you can depend on. But what I'm going to say is this, is Kelsey's now a year older, 34. Had his injury already in the first part of the season, so he's missed a game.
He's dating Taylor Swift.
He's dating Taylor Swift, which is probably not the best.
Not good.
Not at this point in the season.
Of all the things I admire about that guy, that's the only thing. But okay, so good-looking, 35, millionaire, that's fine. But he's dating Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I
like Taylor Swift. What do you want?
So there could be potential pitfalls there in KC. But again, if you're looking at a team, normally if you get the coach right, you get the quarterback right, it's pretty good.
You're not buying the tangent.
Recipe for
Taylor
success.
Swift talk here. He's like,
Yeah.
No,
this is football.
He's laser focused.
All right, so
keep going.
So the Eagles. Okay, let's talk about Jalen Hurts. Let's talk about how that team last year, to me, obviously they were very good. They exceeded expectations.
Absolutely.
He exceeded expectations.
And he played extremely well in the Super Bowl. I think he.
But I'll say this too: the Eagles generally last year were always in a positive game script. Okay, they were always in the lead or at least close to the lead. And when you do that and you come into a game with a game plan like their defense is good as it is, the pressure they get up front, how much were you really asking Jalen Hurts consistently to put the team on his shoulders, like we just mentioned about with Mahomes, who you know can do that? Is Hurts that same guy? And again, maybe he is, maybe he's not, but they're sitting also at 1-1 to this point in the season.
No, 2-0.
Oh no, the Eagles are 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0.
You're right.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching the show.
But again,
we know our stuff.
Dallas, as good as they are right now in their defense, to me, I don't know. It just seems like the Eagles. You can certainly not say, okay, the Eagles are definitely going to be, the top seed in the NFC.
And here's the thing: they had 70 sacks last year. That's not going to happen again with the defense taking a few steps back. They're not the same defense as they were last year, and that's already starting to show this year. They're not as dominant.
By the way, they lost, but the best left tackle in football, no longer there.
I don't think they're as good of a team. Still a playoff team, dangerous at times. I just don't see them being dominant this year like they were last year. They're missing a few key pieces.
Wait,
on
the
defense.
Eagles D?
The Eagles defense.
Well, have you seen the havoc that Jalen Carter is wreaking?
Well, okay. Carter is one guy.
Yeah, but still, we're talking about a player of the. I don't want to get out ahead of ourselves, but he's in the much larger Aaron Donald, Chris Jones mold. I mean,
I would agree with that.
We're talking about a 22-year-old kid.
He's on his way.
Who is 310 pounds of just rampaging rhinoceros out there. I mean, he is so disruptive. Take a look watch every highlight, and I don't care where the ball goes. Okay, one thing you're going to see is you're going to see a guy in the middle of the defensive line just blowing up that guard center thing. Okay, both guards and centers are running into each other, trying to either get out of his way or just try to stay in his way. That guy is wreaking havoc. And once they learn how to really learn how to use him, that defense is going to be elite. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, listen, they're still a good defense. They're still a good unit. They're well coached. They're still the class.
The last time they had a guy this good, his name was Jerome Brown. Okay, that's the last time they had a guy that good.
Rest in peace.
And I'm a London Fletcher. I'm a Fletcher fan. Or Fletcher Cox, excuse me. Fletcher Cox fan. Love me some Fletcher Cox. Okay, so he's learning from one of the best as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't sell that Eagles defense too short. Really, seriously, don't, because it's a very dangerous unit right now. It really is.
Well, Buffalo. Let's talk about them. Where's the running game? Where's the running game? Still not there, right?
Good.
Although, again, they're trying.
I hate Buffalo.
They're trying.
They remind me of almost like the Dolphins with Marino. They pass, and they don't ever run the ball. And I think when you're that one-dimensional...
How'd that work out for our boy Dan?
Yeah, defenses can kind of hone in on your passing game, and it really, really messes things up for you.
Josh Allen has the most interceptions thrown over the last 2 years, period. Okay, 31 interceptions over the last 2 years.
Yikes.
That's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, that's too much. Too much.
In today's NFL.
Xavier Howard's got like 10 of them.
Yeah, I mean, in today's NFL, where everything is so pro-offense, I mean, you can't touch, a guy. You basically can't get in his way. It's very offensive, and yet he's throwing 31 interceptions, and he's the guy who's got the most of those. So that's not good for me. I picked Buffalo to not even make the playoffs this year.
I got to be honest, Buffalo as a fan, if you're a fan of theirs, they got to drive you nuts. 1 week they're scoring 40, the next week they're throwing 4 picks. They got a very Fitzmagic-y
You go.
team,
The thing is you go as your quarterback goes. Huh? You go as your quarterback goes. And again, when you look at Allen week to week, and you mentioned highlights, watching tape, whatever the case.
Oh, by the way, I hate to interrupt, but Now we're recording. Hi, everybody on SoundCloud. I hit the record button before and it didn't start recording. So, hello, SoundCloud. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. And we're in the middle of Kick Rocks and Kick Rocks
on the show.
We're Kick Rocks on the producer. So my bad.
I think
SoundCloud.
I think Philly is 1-1, and meanwhile I get kicked off the show.
Yeah, so you had to go back and admit that to the people on SoundCloud.
Anyway, so. You're basically asking Josh Allen for me to do the things that he may not be as good to do. Throw the football. I mean, obviously, stats don't lie. The issue, too, again, with Buffalo is that with not a consistent running game, with not a consistent play at quarterback, talent level, I mean, they've got great talent at the skill position, but still, it's a team that, like you said, there's question marks. And they're a team that I picked early in the year, not even to make the playoffs. So now, the last team, Cincy, it's clear what the issue is there. Burrow is not healthy.
My calf hurts.
Yeah, unfortunately, the injury he sustained was at the end of camp, and it was the worst time. There was no healing, process.
They rushed him back.
They brought him back too soon. Again,
they rushed him.
I mean, the expectations for the team. If Burrow walks into your office and says, "Coach, I'm ready to play,"
you can't tell him no.
I mean, it's
yeah, but you can, because as your job as a coach is to protect your players from themselves sometimes, and this was clearly one of those moments where it's like, give it another week and let it heal. 84 yards in a game from a guy with that type of talent, it clearly shows he was not comfortable.
At that point, after week 1, I feel like then he should have been pulled. But coming into the season, I mean, again, if you feel good, then and you've gone through the treatments, which I'm sure he had the best medical treatment possible to get him ready for week 1, the team doctor said, "You're a go.
Rub it for me."
So, and he went, and it was doctors make mistakes too. But the point is that Cincy right now,
just look at us
without Joe Burrow.
Would you agree that's the worst out of those 4? Cincinnati's in the deepest trouble.
Yes, for
yeah,
sure.
Me too. Yeah, I fully agree with that.
Because I mean, with no Burrow, and it's just not a good situation in Cincy. So back to the original question: Chiefs, Eagles, Buffalo, Cincy, or the field. I think I'm kicking rocks on the 4 teams. I think I'm taking the field.
Yeah, I'm 100%. With other teams out there that are super, super talented, not being a homer, but obviously Miami being one of them. You have a Dallas out there that's really, really good. I mean, these teams would beat any one of these teams, I think, on any given Sunday.
Agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys, part 2. Kick rocks, rock solid. Couple of 2-0 teams that I know for sure are 2-0 this year. That obviously were surprises, okay? Teams that we didn't expect to be in this position at this point. So of these 2-0 teams, okay, that did not make the playoffs last year, who do you feel has got the best chance to make the playoffs this year? And there's 3 of them. It's Washington, it's Atlanta, and it's New Orleans. Now, Washington, big game today at home against Buffalo, who we just talked about. Spoiler alert, I'm taking Washington. And then in the other division, you got
fade the Bills.
You got Atlanta and New Orleans. Clearly, it looks like only one of those teams can get there because they're in the same division.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a tough path for both teams to make the playoffs in that division. I feel because, again, we're not even talking about Tampa, who theoretically, after today, you can have 3 teams in that division that could be 3-0. And that's probably everybody's worst division coming into this season. Nobody had anybody fantasy-related, in any sort of positive light in terms of, whatever, NFL and their over-under and the win totals. Right now, there was a lot of unders on these teams. So you got Washington, you got Atlanta, you got New Orleans. Which of these 3 teams that are 2-0 do you think actually makes the playoffs this year?
Pick me.
You go. You're up.
Pick me.
Go.
New Orleans.
Reason.
Defense, quarterback. Alvin Kamara is coming back next week. They have depth. They also have other options, which, by the way, they're getting ready to kick the tires on playoff Lenny. By the way, which that offense is built for a bruiser like that. Give me 230 pounds of a guy who takes the handoff, plants his foot in the ground, and then looks for a linebacker to spear.
4 yards in a cloud of
I would
dust.
love to see him in a Dolphin uniform all day long, but still, they need a bruiser, and they're going to go get one. Tony Jones Jr. and who's the kid, the rookie Kendra Miller, I guess his name is. They'll hold the fort this week, but Kamara's back next week. Don't slap anybody around anymore, please. Stop slapping people out.
Just a bad look for Kamara.
Just a bad look. I mean, really, seriously. And once again, you're going to see Kamara's going to be back, and believe me, they'll use the crap out of him. But give me Derek Carr and that defense, which right now that defense is en fuego. Okay, in fantasy, I avoid that defense. You're playing New Orleans, get out of the way, especially a wide receiver, tight end, you got nothing. They got linebackers that can cover, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, whatever you got. All 4 DBs, you're going to see at least 2 of them go to the Pro Bowl, and they've got a badass pass rush. So give me New Orleans all day long. You guys can debate whatever you want, but kick rocks for anybody else. Give me a rock-solid New Orleans quarterback, defense. The cavalry's coming, and they're 2-0. Period. Things couldn't have gone any better for them if they tried. They couldn't have written this script any better. Next,
Johnny.
Yeah, everything that he just said,
what he said.
And remember this: this team hasn't even started clicking yet on offense.
Yeah,
they haven't even started.
Nope.
So wait till you get Jawan Johnson involved a little bit more, which is my biggest disappointment with Kyle Pitts this year. I mean, I don't understand why they're not using him more, but this team hasn't even started clicking yet, and they're 2-0. They don't have Kamara. They have stars that they're missing, and they're already winning. I think Derek Carr is a little bit better than some people give him credit for. And when you have this many weapons, Thomas, Olave, Kamara coming back, like he just mentioned, their defense is stacked from head to toe.
Shaheen. Don't forget Shaheen.
You got guys like that are coming up. Absolutely. Big play Shaheen. So, I mean, Atlanta, to me, good. They're going to be better than what we thought, but they're at the bottom of this list. I also like Washington and what they're doing, but if I had to pick one, give me New Orleans. They're just a better overall team.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, backtracking on Atlanta, by the way, Arthur Smith is trying to pull sort of an NBA type of deal where the NBA has been drifting towards positionless basketball. Well, he's trying to drift towards positionless football. Okay, so you notice his wide receivers are all gigantic. Okay, they're all 6'3" and taller, and they've got a wide receiver with Pitts. He's a wide receiver trapped in a tight end's body, another monster. So I don't know whether their experiment is really going to work. I really don't.
What I like about, now again, I tend to agree with you guys in terms of New Orleans having the best shot. I just think they've got better talent. But I will say this about Atlanta. This is the argument for them, is they come in with a game plan where they're going to run the football.
Yep.
And everybody knows it. And
Three different guys run the football.
And they do it still extremely well. So,
Bijan.
Obviously, if you can implement a game plan and come into a game and execute that game plan, advantage is yours, right?
Execute.
This game script term that I throw on all the time. Game script is basically, for the entire week, 2 teams sit down, they drop a plan, they come up with what they think the other team's going to do. They try and implement a plan for what they want to do, and they get to the field and they execute. Halftime, they relook at everything, they figure out where they went wrong, where they went right, and then they do it again for the next 20 minutes and trying to figure out game plan 2 or 3 or 4. They've got all these different, options that they go to. Atlanta goes in with one game plan. This is who we are.
Yep.
This is what we're going to do. We have the talent to do it, and we're going to run it down your throat. And they play decent defense.
Decent.
They're getting there. Okay, if you put a gun to my head, I'm on New Orleans, but I'm not going to discredit Atlanta at this point, sitting at 2-0, who today very well could be 3-0 after all the games are said and done today.
Yeah, that entire division is super surprising.
Kick
right now.
rocks.
So I am going to say again, you guys are on New Orleans. I'm just going to be slightly different. I'm going to go with Atlanta and say Atlanta maybe has enough to sustain. Obviously in 4 weeks, 3 weeks, this will be different. So we'll see. So that's basically where we're at. We had a lot to break down in segment 2. We got a lot of games to go over. We got a lot of stuff to cover. So
are you giving me a hint that we should head for the break?
Throwing it back to you, sir.
So what you're telling me is we should throw it to the break. So coming up in the second segment, now we are going to be heading into the DFSs.
We're going to be breaking down some key games that we think are important today, and obviously it all relates to both DFS and gambling. When we come back from the last break, when Andrew settles in, we're doing the gambling and we're doing DFS.
This is what happens when I'm not part of the production meetings.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, just in time. Hey, right on. Well, and if we're fortunate, we're going to have Andrew Lawson right after the break. So here we go. More Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. We're right after this. Come on. Here we go. Right after this.
live by another day. We live by another day.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
We better get going. God knows what the team is doing with just Farmer Fran watching them.
Dios me está Bobby Boucher on the video. Call that wrong way. Reclamación Bobby Boucher time.
Gonzo Radio. Line up with CJ Stroud.
And we're back, and we actually are a complete lineup now, because seated across from us, rushing in, beating another South Florida downpour, the man in white now, and we've got, wow, and you know what, you elevate really well in that chair too. This is look at this, the tops of their heads are nice and even too. Andrew Lawson has made,
because I'm clean shaven now.
Clean shaven as well. I would ask you not to touch any plumbing in my house, because you are obviously you have the gooch on you.
That is correct.
You even made it rain when you came over here, but welcome back.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. You didn't miss much. I mean, Matt thinks that Philadelphia's 1-1, and I can't get the record button pushed right. So,
but we do know this.
Do you remember who made the playoffs last year,
I have that too. But more importantly, guess who's not starting today?
Who?
RG3.
RG3.
Wait. Hold on a second.
Najee Harris.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Jalen Warren's getting to start tonight.
Hold on a second. Give me a chance to fight for my Red Rocket.
Going hard on
Give me a
RG3,
chance.
man.
Give me a chance to fight for the Rocket. The Rocket's getting to start
Saw
today.
that Jalen Warren is getting to start tonight.
I have him in my
Najee
lineup.
Harris.
I hope Jalen Warren gets to start tonight.
All right.
So,
Focus.
Yeah. Let me just text Andy real quick and tell him that I got the
my
dig in.
God.
Starting him at the DFS.
Andy, I could. Andy's good for about 210 yards and 2 touchdowns today, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, quick reminder now that while we've got everybody's attention, and while Matt takes a big swig off his coffee and everything, we get a little chance to focus. Make sure you check us out on the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Now, there's two. There's a group page, and there's also a group. Okay, there's a page, and there's a group. So go to both of them. Go to the page, like it, follow it. Go to the group. Invite yourself. I'll invite you. Let me know. Ask. Just go. We'll let anybody in.
Doors
It's okay.
open. Just come on in.
We're just it's a free for all.
Yeah.
But that's also your best place for not only for sports information, because all four of us post on there on a regular basis, drop all kinds of knowledge over there. But also then we all have got the crazy cast of characters like Danny Heimbender and Chris Turner and Rel Allen, and so these guys are also dropping not only knowledge but hilarious memes. Oh my God, the stuff that they drop on there is hilarious. That Travis Kelce meme. Once back to Taylor Swift. Look, Travis Kelce, he scores 6 points on the field and off the field. I'm like, 6? Scores a 6? What? Wait. There's no way Taylor Swift is a 6.
No, she's not. She's a
That's
6.5.
money to be a 6.
She's a 6.5.
She could be a 4 and she's still an 8.
600 million. Is that what he meant? 600 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 billion on her way to?
Yeah.
Again, how does Taylor Swift get in this conversation?
Yeah, I just wanted to.
I know.
And also, I'm doing cross promotion. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, sorry.
So on this channel, on the YouTube channel, make sure you jump on here and like and subscribe, and that way you'll be alerted every time that we are ready to pull our shenanigans. A quick production note: next week we are off.
Correct.
Because Matt's going on his 9th vacation of the year. Because I think your wife has 14 million frequent flyer miles. Is that
No,
what
we
it is? You guys
just
have to
every
fly
once
off
in a
to-
while we get a chance to break away for the weekend, and so this is
You
another one
guys
of those
fly off
chances.
to random places. You go to Kentucky.
Well, that is a reason for that at some point.
And then all of a sudden you'll turn around and it's like, what do you mean Tulsa, Oklahoma? Why are you in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Listen, rated the #1 breakfast joint ever is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was on, what's that show with Guy Fieri? He does diners. Yeah. Listen, Google it.
So we'll be off next week.
Yeah.
There's also a couple of weekends coming up here where we will not be here because I'm going to some Dolphin games. So already buying tickets, already making plans. So, but we will be here rather on a regular basis, just a few sporadic absences.
But like you said, the content will always be there. So that's the reason
that's
for.
the reason why I tell you have to go to the group page. You have to go to the like page or the page. You have to go check us out on Facebook. That's where you can get the information, even if we're not doing this, silliness and hijinks and stuff like that. So
yeah, because we're crushing DFS. Andrew's still on fire.
can't touch us.
Yeah,
can't touch us.
It's
first take,
very strong.
Who cares? Get up. We talk about more than the Cowboys and the Jets here. Thanks, Greeny. What a 1 hour waste of time that show is every morning now, right, on ESPN?
I started to give some plays away on the Facebook page, and I'll make sure to do more of that. Yesterday, I went 8-1 in the picks that I gave away. So I'll continue to do that, and they'll make sure that I do it every single Thursday and Saturday for you guys to get it. I'm running at a really good 72% right now for the year.
Obviously, college football.
Obviously, it's going to come down. I'm not going to run that the whole year, but I put in the effort, I put in the time, so I'll do my best to make you guys some money.
You jumped right out there and said, fade Colorado, man. Woo.
Facts.
And Oregon
Facts.
did you right.
I gave them, I thought they were going to score 7. I thought it was going to be 55-17. I didn't think, I guess I gave Colorado a little too much credit.
Yeah.
They have no linebackers on that defense. They have very little offensive line.
Listen, 75% of their rosters turned over from last year.
There was a reason they were projected to win 3 games this year. Vegas had them at 3.5, and they still might not get much more than that if you look at their schedule coming up.
Agreed.
It's brutal.
All right, we got some NFL games that we crunched.
Oh, we do.
Pre-show that we think have some value. I mean, they all have value. We have pieces in all of them. But there's a few games that I think we're going to key on today
Go
that
Dolphins.
have some value. So let's get started, guys. Chargers-Vikings. Both teams 0-2. One of these teams going 0-3. Clearly, right?
Yeah, that's how it works.
2.5%.
It could be 0-2-1.
You know what? Technically, they could
be 0-2-1.
Now, this will mess up my next stat. Thank you very much. 2.5% chance for an 0-3 team to make the playoffs.
What's the percentage if they're 0-2-1?
We don't have that, but it's probably slightly higher. But ultimately, we have to assume one of these teams is going to win and one of these teams is going to lose. And that being the case, guys, one of these teams is going to be home in January. So, big game today for both teams. Johnny?
I like the Vikings in this one. I definitely I think Jefferson has a massive game today. This is going to be a shootout, guys. This is going to be both teams score over 30 points, 100%. And I see the Chargers going down today.
It's the highest total in
54?
54.5.
Yeah,
absolute
big.
shootout.
The question is what I'm more interested in is I want the Chargers to win because I want to see what happens if the Vikings go 0-3. Does Kirk Cousins
Become available
to
New York?
the Jets? 1 year he's he's a free agent at the end of the year. Does he become available? What if Burrow continues to get hurt? Do they try and make a move? There's a couple other teams that might need a quarterback.
So you're saying in-season move?
Yeah, an in-season move because he's a free agent at the end of the year.
Okay.
You only have to pay prorated version of
Right.
his contract. There's a few teams that are on the fringe with no quarterback or an injured quarterback. The Vikings are going to get out of him at the end of the year anyways.
Could you imagine Atlanta?
Yeah. Well, but again, they have a guy in Ritter. I mean, he's young, but you guys are anti-Ritter. We're getting to that. We're getting to that. All right, you guys obviously. I mean, in terms of the Chargers, there's only 2 teams that have more first downs than the Chargers this year. Okay, Rams and Dolphins. So it's the offense is not the issue. They haven't turned the ball over yet. So again, I mean, there are always going to be outliers because there are so many variables that play into wins and losses.
They have a bad coach.
Okay, argument there, yes. Bad coaching.
And they don't get it done when it matters. Because Herbert's had a chance to win both games. Herbert and the Chargers have had a chance to win both games. And he
Calling Dr. Heimlich.
Came up short against Miami.
Right.
Then going down against Tennessee, only got him a field goal instead of a win. And then what happened in overtime? 3 and out.
But again, are we just focusing on the end of the game? I mean, again, those are important. And if you stack those guys up against some of the greats, the Mahomes, other things like that, I mean, you expect those teams to win more than they lose. That hasn't happened in San Diego, obviously. But
Because they play in Los Angeles, so that's why it didn't happen in San Diego.
I like San Diego Chargers. They're always going to be the San Diego Chargers for me. Because all right, this is a side note. When I was a kid, I had a bedspread with all the helmets on there, and the Chargers helmet was the best helmet in all of football.
Oh, I thought you were going in a totally different.
Yeah,
direction.
no, I'm not though. So
I was about to say, dump it out.
This is the 11 a.m. show, not the 11
Go to
p.m. show.
Go to commercial.
Yeah.
Go to commercial.
Yeah, quite different here, guys. So anyway,
Go look.
I mean, big game. One of these teams, like I said, home in January. I'm on the Chargers in this game just because I think overall, like you said, the narrative is now they're possibly talking about trading the quarterback, Cousins, if they don't win. When things like that start to creep in the building, there's some doubts. Usually that starts from inside the building first and then gets out. That's how we know about these things. So I'm on the Chargers today in that game.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, guys, Bears-Chiefs. Now, probably I think it's the biggest line of the day. I think the Chiefs. I think
Is it bigger than Dallas? They was real close. Them and Dallas were
12,
close.
Is it okay?
And
So
the
they're
Chiefs
what?
are 13.
Okay.
Chiefs are 12.5, 13. So yeah,
Is anybody thinking the Bears win this game today?
I'm picking them to cover the spread, not to win the game.
Okay.
I'm not even picking them to cover the spread.
Really? Okay. I mean, again, so now let's assume that the Bears and Fields. Where are we going with this? I mean, if he doesn't look good today, and they get blown out, I mean, which they're expected to get blown out, what happens now?
Is there a little pressure because he blamed the coaches?
Why
You
would we
saw
be
that?
surprised?
But what's the
guy
outlook?
doesn't win games.
Yeah.
He doesn't win games. This isn't anything like, oh my God, this year is different from last.
Have you noticed that he blamed the coaches and then the next day tried to make it and went and hugged the coach for the camera? But
Yeah.
when they asked why he looked so robotic, he said coaching.
they kind of
Yeah.
took that out of context
And-
a little bit.
Do we talk about the elephant in the room with all the rumors going on with the defensive coordinator and stepping away?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the
yeah,
the
dude.
FBI raid. So
They
who
said
knows?
you shouldn't even look at the video.
Who
It's
knows
like-
what's going on in there? If there's a little, what's going on in the lockdown? That's why I think it could be.
I'm going no bueno on the Bears, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of trouble there.
Poor Matt Eberflus, man. He is in big trouble.
Yeah.
He's just like, why? He reminds me of that Simpsons meme with Ralphie. You know, I'm in danger. It's like, yeah, you are, pal, and that's your seat that you're feeling that heat on right now.
Is Fields even a starter next year if he continues down this
Yeah,
path?
they have too much invested in him still. They're still a year.
Yeah,
They're still a year-
Financially, they
with
have
the
to
first
play
round.
him.
They're still a year
basically.
away. They're still a year away from getting.
Even though they brought in all that talent this year.
They're still one more year away.
They'll-
On a rookie
they'll-
deal,
they'll
you don't get
blow
rid of a
out.
quarterback
Yeah.
on their rookie deal.
Well, I'm not saying get
No.
rid of him, but how much more patience can they afford to
Yeah.
have?
Another year.
Yeah.
There's another year left in him.
Okay, how about this? What if the Bears go into next year and they've got one of the top 3 picks? And next year you've got a lot of quarterbacks coming
If
out.
they have number 1 pick with Caleb Williams, maybe, but I don't see that happening.
Is there any other quarterback coming out of the draft that could change a team right
I mean,
away?
Drake May looks okay. Riley Leonard looks good. You know,
Sam Hartman
yeah, Hartman
looks pro ready.
Jordan Travis they're all right, but those aren't game changers where you're gonna you're gonna try and either trade. But Caleb Williams is the exception. If they end up with the number 1 pick again like they had last year, but Bryce Young didn't blow anybody off of the door. That's why they
Right.
were okay trading it. I could say, okay, maybe they have a shot at Caleb Williams. I think they might move on from Fields. But number 1 pick aside,
What would be a fair trade for Fields? What's his value? It's not a first-round pick, right? At
Maybe
this point,
second,
I mean,
maybe third.
it's mostly probably conditional picks based upon performance. I would imagine.
but hey, guys, listen, they're going to blow out that whole coaching staff before they get rid of that kid.
that's why I said one more
Okay.
year. It's another year.
Yeah, Eberflus and his whole bunch are gone before they get rid of that kid.
That's a fair
okay,
point.
so they're going to regroup. They're going to limp along. They're going to get as many wins as they possibly can. They're going to go in with a top 10 pick next year. They'll probably pick a defensive player. Okay, they'll probably use a second and third rounder
They
for
need an
offensive line. Exactly. Okay, they'll beef up. You can get plenty of great O linemen in the second, third, fourth round. I mean, it's just that simple. But you are going to lose that whole entire coaching staff before you get rid of Justin Fields. It's that simple. It's
Yeah.
just that simple. So let's not talk any craziness like that. I'm still talking about Justin Jefferson getting traded, like a Herschel Walker type of trade. If Kirk Cousins goes, like you were saying,
But this isn't, you know what?
then
Football's not like
Jefferson is not far
baseball.
behind.
no.
It's not like where they just blow lineups up, and all of a sudden you got 4 guys straight at the deadline. It doesn't happen like that in
No,
football.
the only
It's
reason
very
with
difficult.
Cousins is because you could get a second, third round pick for him, and you've got a team like the Jets that need him. Now, I don't think that would make if that ever were to happen, it would be in the offseason. But I was reading that Cousins in midseason could happen.
Really? Okay.
For the
That's
simple
fair.
fact,
That's fair.
Especially if the Jets come out and beat the Patriots today, which is not out of the realm of possibility. Now they're sitting at 2-1.
True.
Good segue. Next game, Jets Patriots.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even know.
Perfect.
I missed the pregame show.
Next game, perfect. This is a divisional win for one of these two teams, which they both desperately need.
And
I hope
Okay.
they both lose.
it's going to be rainy and windy.
Yeah, I mean the weather should be a factor. This is one of the lower totals of the day, so
both lose.
I mean this could be your tie.
This is where you want the tie.
Yeah, thank you. There we go. Bottom line is again, this is a game that, at least from Belichick's perspective, I think that they have the advantage of quarterback. They got the advantage of coach. And from that perspective alone, that's all we ever preach. If you got the quarterback, you
Yep.
got the coach, you got a big advantage.
Do they have the advantage of the coach now?
And defense is a push.
Are you buying Solace?
Defense is a push.
I think the defense is a
coach?
push. I really do. I mean, you match up personnel versus personnel.
I think the Jets got that.
But here's the difference.
Maybe by virtue of Sauce Gardner. And
Well,
that's
no,
about it.
the difference in what used to be the advantage for the Jets is they had the better offense.
Right.
And the better offense makes the defense better.
Yeah.
But now the pressure's on the defense. They can't just go out there and ball. They have to be the shoulder of the load.
They have the better running game. If they use them this time, and I don't know why.
That's
the
another
offense-
enigma. And then, but yet you want to announce and make him the better coach. And until these young coaches, and there's 4 or 5 of them.
I don't know
in the
about
league
the better,
now
but he's
that are
right now.
struggling.
I think he's as good as Belichick right now. Not obviously, Belichick has been better for a long time, but Belichick hasn't done anything in the last few years
Without
to
Brady,
make me
he's barely a 500 coach.
see him as this.
I think these divisional games are circled on Belichick's calendar. I think he knows the importance of these
Was
games.
it circled last week against Miami?
Miami's a better football team. It's not even close. The Patriots offensively just don't seem like they have enough firepower. I think the Patriots are 29th in the league in big plays. That hasn't changed over the last since Mac Jones has been there. So, are you blaming Belichick? Are you blaming the lack of weapons? Are you blaming Mac Jones? I mean, what are the reasons?
Lack of weapons is also Belichick, because remember, he is. And what he paid Devontae Parker, and we all know about Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
We all laughed when they gave him that kind of money.
Yeah.
Juju didn't do nothing with that. So, to me, I have the Jets today.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, me too.
I have the Jets winning as a dog and obviously covering.
I am on the other
Yeah.
side. I have the Patriots.
We're all against you.
That's okay.
You will lose.
I am used to that. Broncos, Dolphins, guys. This is your game. Dolphins are finally home.
Dolphins.
2 big road wins, 2-0.
Yes,
now
sir.
they're home. Wilson versus Tua. I mean, right now it doesn't look close.
It's not.
Wilson.
Listen, you're lucky I didn't abandon y'all's asses and go to the game right now. I should be in the parking lot smelling like beer and and stale cigar smoke. But I'm here with you because
And we appreciate that.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. So 2-0. The Dolphins go 3-0. They're looking pretty good right now in that division.
I have the Dolphins winning this game, but the spread scares me a little bit without Waddle and.
Aren't you banged up on the backside too a little bit
Yeah.
defensively? Linebackers too are out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we have we don't have good linebackers anyways. And
Yeah.
they're a little banged up. I think we still find a way to win, but 6.5 is
It's a big number.
That's a pretty decent sized number.
And again, we're banging on Wilson slightly. He's not been terrible.
Have you looked at
Strong
their-
progression.
Have you
You
looked at
can't
the
avoid it. You banged on him last year.
Have you looked at his
tore him
numbers?
up last year.
He's like
Now-
the fourth most efficient quarterback.
I know.
and the third
That's what I'm
most efficient
saying.
quarterback in the league.
It hasn't been Wilson.
He wasn't the reason they lost to Washington.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, and again, now if the Dolphins, obviously, we just mentioned some
Xavier
injuries.
Howard's got like 8 kids coming that it's on his mind. So
Who is going to be able to run the ball effectively?
That's
for
why he's
Denver?
going to pick it off twice because he got to feed them kids.
Can Miami stop the run? 130 yards last week they gave up, I think.
it seems to me that Fangio is defense is like, okay, we're going to give you the run. We're just not going to give them the big plays because Eckler ran for what? Eckler and Kelly ran
lot.
for
200,
180
yeah.
or 200,
Yeah.
and then Stevenson ran for 50. Zeke ran for like 40. But it's worked so far, so maybe that's his thing. Small
Right.
plays, don't give up the chunks, and they were pretty good on third down.
The problem with that, though, is as long as you have the lead, that works.
Yeah.
But if you're chasing and a team has the ball and they're running the ball
Yeah.
and they can run the ball on you, that's a problem.
So
The big advantage I think we do have is it's going to sound weird to say, but coaching. I mean, it's yes, Sean Payton has proven that he's a championship coach, but this offense is like revolutionary. It is really hard to guard this much motion all the time. And even with Waddle out, look out for Craycraft today. I think a lot of people are going to start hearing
I
his name.
told you.
Craycraft today is going to have
everybody.
All over Craycraft and DFS.
Craycraft
I'm not
and
ready to go there.
Barrios.
no.
No.
I think Berrios is going to be the guy over Craycraft.
one of the two.
But I would not have either of them in my line.
Craycraft has not dropped a single pass since being a Dolphin. Anything that goes in his area,
I think you're going to get more A-Chain in the motion. I think they're going to use him.
He's
A-Chain.
playing. Was
He
he on
is
injury
active.
report?
He is
active.
100%.
Ahmed is not. At last I looked,
Right.
Ahmed was not playing.
He's
No, I
not.
don't
Still
think he
not.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still not.
Well, another good indicator on A-Chain is that his fantasy projection, his point projection, went up like 5
Yeah.
points overnight. So everybody's on A-Chain, that's for sure.
Well,
So,
he'll
Does he
definitely
get more
have.
touches than Mozart?
I don't know
No,
about that.
no,
Don't
right?
don't get crazy now.
No.
But a guy like that with his price, if we're talking DFS,
Yeah.
he gets 10 touches, 12 touches. That could be the difference. That guy could really,
Yeah, that
really
could,
hit value.
and one of them is going to the house.
Yeah, so very interesting. All right, last game, guys. Another big one: Saints and Packers.
Wait, so we're all on the Dolphins, or what?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're on it. Although Andrew's maybe a little Bronco.
Andrew doesn't want to give up the 6.5.
Win the
yeah,
game, but not the spread.
Yeah,
You're right.
if I was going to bet, I would. I'm not betting on this game, but if I was going to bet, I would take the Broncos plus the money, plus the points. But I think Miami wins.
Okay, fair.
Okay.
6.5, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yep.
The touchdown, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That's big for the NFL.
Saints Packers, guys, last game. New Orleans coming in 2-0. The Packers are 1-1. We had a little discussion, pre-show about if you had to guess which team right now outside of the Niners, because they just played their third game, but which team has scored the most points so far in the NFC, it's the Packers. Now, the Packers are sitting 1-1. Nobody knew what they were going to be coming into this year because of Jordan Love, right? The big enigma in Green Bay. Nobody ever saw the kid play. There was no highlights. There was nothing to go on. And here they are sitting 1-1. They're at home. They're scoring points. He's looked pretty good.
Wait. About Jordan Love, I have never seen a quarterback flub a quarterback sneak. I've never. You saw the highlight. You saw the play, right?
Yeah.
Hey, set. Hey, and the center's
Something
like,
happened.
"What is wrong with you,
Sniper. Yeah, something happened. But
You okay?"
listen, Saints are 2-0. We mentioned that division earlier in the show about how you could potentially have 3 teams in that division, the worst division we all thought in football, at 3-0 this year.
Crazy,
Okay.
nuts, bananas.
From that perspective alone,
That just shows you how bad the NFC is in general.
I mean, we talked about that too. There's the quarterback play. Just looking at quarterback play, the AFC is like up here, and then the NFC is like the junior circuit. In terms of quarterback play. But for this game, you got New Orleans coming in 2-0, Green Bay home 1-1. Who you got?
I'm going to go New Orleans. Keep
Okay.
the train rolling.
On the road.
I like Green Bay, though, too, but I'm going to go New Orleans.
What do you think?
I have New Orleans also.
Yeah. We talked about the defense just being
I
so
just think
strong.
it's just that defense is really, really good. And Carr does not look great, but so far he just hasn't made the mistake. And
Exactly right. Yep.
in teams like that, they not making the big mistakes late. Like last week against Carolina, it was a close game, but he just didn't make that dumb mistake.
Right.
Not the Deshaun Watson mistake or the
Right.
Well,
that kind of guy like that, like you said, smart, because in
Yeah.
games they're supposed to win, they do.
Yeah.
There's not that late turnover
And
or whatever it is that changes the outcome.
I think they understand 9-8 wins that division, 10-7 wins that division. So get the wins out of the way early. Don't make the dumb play, and don't worry about what your stats look like.
beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and then
And Card is not one of those guys that goes out flashy, wants to needs the stats, and
Sure.
is not a me first guy.
no Kamara yet either. So
Yeah,
they're not even
And they're gonna be-
100%.
It's actually no Jamal Williams. It's the
Yeah.
Kendra Miller show. If you guys
Yeah.
want somebody on DFS for a cheap
flyer.
4,300.
I told you.
Cheap flyers, baby. We love cheap
told
flyers.
ya.
I got some cheap flyers when we come back.
You're a cheap flyer. Give me
My
give me
core
Nola.
four is
Who
gonna be
dat
strong.
all day? Who dat? Points, no points, whatever. Give
I
me
got
New
one
Orleans all day
game that I
long.
want to ask you guys about, though, that we didn't go in here.
Well, real
that's-
quick about the Packers, and then we'll close this one out.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones playing, not playing?
Yes, he is.
He
Yes.
is playing
Yes.
today. Green Bay
Yes.
typically has been very conservative with their injuries. If they feel like you can't play, they sit you for 3 weeks. So the fact that he's on the field today, he is a go. And that
but
makes a difference.
Cameron Jordan's playing.
Yeah.
Cameron Jordan's playing. That tells you everything you need to know. You're not going to be able to run on that defense.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to run on them.
Nope.
Period.
Aaron Jones is a pretty dynamic player. He can be effective in a
Oh,
few
no,
different
Aaron Jones
ways.
has just been out. They just changed it.
Oh, he's out.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
He's
there
There we go. Real time.
I'm on New
Something happened-
Orleans.
Something happened in
Practice
pregame
early.
warm-outs.
Yep.
Pregame warm-ups. I just got the
Okay,
notification.
fair enough. Well, then I'm on the Saints. Pretty simple. We're done.
Slipped on a
Moving
Gatorade
on.
cup.
You had an extra game you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, just a sneaky game for DFS play and a sneaky game for
Take notes, kids.
the way the trajectory of both seasons is Cleveland, Tennessee. Because that's a sneaky game that could get a lot of points scored. People don't want to talk because Cleveland can't stop the run and Tennessee can't stop the pass. And Deshaun Watson got all this money and he has looked terrible now going on 10 games.
Yo.
And Tannehill doesn't look good, but if they go to 1-2 in that division, do we start to see Will Levis? Do we start to see the Malik Willis train? Tajee Spears is starting to outsnap Derrick Henry.
He's getting there. He's getting there.
Are they holding Henry? That could be one person that maybe they go 1-2, 1-3. Does Henry get moved to a team?
I don't think he'll eventually overtake Henry. I think Henry's still the guy, but as we've seen over the last few years, it's good to have two guys, especially if your one guy is getting up there a little bit in age.
Yeah.
And he's had a little bit of, I'm not saying injury history, but
The man is a freak.
he's starting
all
to break
right?
down a little, you'd say, at this point, with the amount of touches he had. We
The
talked
man, the
about
man
that.
is a freak.
He had almost 850 touches over the last 3 years.
He's Adrian Peterson plus 2 inches and 30 pounds.
Listen, even Herschel
He's a
Walker
freak.
broke down. Even the best and the strongest
Bo
of athletes
Jackson.
have broken
Yeah,
down.
like-
Bo Jackson with the freak injury. But listen, Bo Jackson doesn't get that freak hip injury.
All I'm
He
saying
the
is that-
GOAT
Because I like Amari Cooper or Elijah Moore today. If Watson
Yeah,
can
oh,
get
yeah.
it to him, they're
Elijah
both
Moore could be the sneaky player.
5,200, and
Yeah.
then Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper's 5,700. His talent is more than 5,700. It's
I
just
agree
he's
with that.
killing me
simple
on my
fact
fantasy
that
team.
Watch
Yeah.
out, it's so bad.
has been so bad.
Yeah.
I think DraftKings every week, because they give me 1 or 2 players that just the undervalue and the player blows up.
That's what I said about Mike Evans last week. I said
Yeah.
that him and Baker Mayfield was just
Money.
it was huge.
Money.
Before we get to the last part of our show, we talk about Andrew's bets, my core force, and DFS talk. We have a tropical storm out there that's affecting some games potentially today. So I know that the weather changes very quickly, and it looks like some of the reports that I heard coming in was that some of the games they thought were going to be bad are better than expected. So I would suggest up until the last half hour before the games start, recheck the weather on these games. My biggest thing about weather, it's not even just the rain, it's the wind.
Yeah. On my way up here, they said really the only game still affected
Jets.
is the Jets Patriots. They said that's the only game that's going to have the win, and you're not starting a wide receiver on the
Either team.
I mean, maybe you still starting Garrett Wilson. Maybe. That's
If you're
it.
desperate.
Newsflash! I got I'm doing the I'm doing the Adam Schefter thing. I got a newsflash from our good friend, the Guru's Guru, Mr. Roscoe Hen. Both Taysom Hill and Tony Jones Jr. inactive.
So
today.
Kendry Miller is a definite must start
Kendry
now.
Miller is a huge
with
play
no
today.
Tony Jones and no
Huge.
Jamal Williams. Kendry Miller
who's
has
left?
Yeah.
Wow.
Who's left? Let's see. There's an equipment trainer. There's a guy
Yeah.
who played
Wow.
high school football. Played running back a couple of times.
The good thing about that, guys, is that it's late news, and if guys have got their lineups already in and don't go back and check, or look for a late injury and get a substitution, a guy like that will open up your entire lineup.
Yeah.
Now, again, guys that are on him, his ownership's going to be relatively high compared to the rest of the field, but you still may have an opportunity there for some guys, like I said, just not paying attention, and it gives you a huge advantage. So certainly look at that.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you mean? Just because I'm going through and trying to get Taysom Hill out of a lineup? What do you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm paying attention to what anybody's saying here. Get Taysom Hill out of this friggin'
Quickly,
lineup. Jesus.
get him
Wow,
out.
Bye.
Hey, we got some DFS to get to when we get back, and we got Andrew's 87% success rate to continue on, and so let's rock and roll there.
Hey, I'm busy. Hang on.
Get your stuff together there, guy. Button controller.
Button controller. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the Core 4 and our final segment here on the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. I love it. All right, let's go. With pencils down. There we go. Okay.
Everybody jumped on the Miller news.
There was just
We're like,
so
Miller.
much
What do I do?
We're scrambling on our DFSs to make up for Tony Jones. And once again, Tony Jones and Taysom Hill have been declared inactive for today. Double check your news sources. We have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So go ahead and double check those. I didn't gamble. I just went. Also, Kadarius Toney has been, I guess, a downgrade. His status is now a game time decision. So warm-ups are pretty much starting in about 10, 15 minutes. Probably around noon they'll get out for warm-ups. So we'll see about that. So keep an eye on Kadarius Toney with the Kansas City Chiefs. Their wide receiver, really fast, who gets hurt, stubs his pinky toe on a coffee table, and he's out 3 weeks. So we are ready for the core four.
DFS, baby. Let's
DFS.
go.
Let's get after it. Look at it. Rubbing the hands
Last
together.
week, we introduced the core four. It's just 4 guys you can build your lineups around.
Kofo.
The goal, again, we talked about DFS, is you're looking for salary relief. You're looking for certain multipliers so that you can guarantee cashing in your lineups. The multiplier that's out there is 2.5x. It's very simply, you get a salary, you multiply it by 2.5. If he gets to that fantasy point total, you have hit your mark. The average cash game score on DraftKings is 129 points. Okay, so that's that 2.5 multiplier. Last week, my core 4 went 3.6 times multiplier, boys, on fire. Keelan Allen, Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith, and the guy that I actually paid the most for gave me the least bit of production, Stephon Diggs. But still, overall, it was 3 times 6 multiplier. It's fantastic. That would have been a good base for you to guys get your lineup started. So that being said, boy, we got some disagreements today. I got one quarterback today in every one of my lineups. He's in my core 4. I got some Desmond Ridder at 5K. Look at the faces. So Andrew just puked. He puked over there.
Did you throw up in your mouth
Guys,
a little bit?
listen.
Throw up on the mic.
Use my multiplier.
Hey, that's an expensive microphone. Take it easy.
Use my multiplier. First of all, he finally threw the ball a few times last week. Okay, he had 2 guys catch touchdown passes.
A few.
At 5K, even give me the 3x multiplier. It's only 15 fantasy points. It just allows me to open up a lot of other stuff in the lineup. So a lot of my guys are cheap today. So let's go to the next cheap guy.
Go to Sam Howell for 5,300. He's going to get you more.
But again, for me, I'm all about Ritter. I'm all about Atlanta. I'm on Atlanta's train, so I'm staying with him. My next guy,
positionless football.
Brian Robinson, guys, 5.8K on DK. Washington's viable, and they use him a lot. And we talked about he catches the ball too. I think 5.8K is really cheap. And on FanDuel, he's how much? Brian Robinson?
7,800.
We talk about it all the time, guys. Use multiple sites. That way you can gauge basically where they are. Maybe $7,800 is too much to pay, but I can tell you that on DK, $5,800 is not.
Yeah.
So he's definitely in my core. I'm paying up at running back. We got Tony Pollard today. 2 angles here. One, he's great. Okay. The other is they're playing Arizona, who's terrible.
Well, great helps.
And the third one, you have to look at ownership. I think it's important when you're in these GPPs because the point is to separate yourself from the field.
It's going to be a lot of Kendry Miller. It's going to be a lot of Joshua Kelly.
Yeah, a lot of popular guys.
A lot of Jerome Ford. A lot of these $5,000 running backs, which are good because it opens up your lineup. But sometimes you just need to go chalk and get. Or not chalk, but get the top-paying guy.
You need, for GPP lineups, in my opinion, at least 1 or 2 guys that are extremely undervalued in terms of what their projections are salary-wise. So it enables you to go up and get a couple of guys that usually guys look at their salaries and go, well, I can't afford to get that player in my lineup, and they pass.
Yeah.
But today, it's a little bit of the opposite because there's more than just 1 or 2 guys I feel that you can pay down for, that more people will be doing that.
Correct.
So I think the difference here is obviously getting different at the running back position and paying up somewhat forces you to have to pay down at the receiver position. So you're already in a opposite game script of what most of the field is doing. So if you're successful today with your approach, you're probably going to be in a good spot to make some money.
I agree. I think that Pollard is a great play. I also think that a sneaky play because how bad he's looked, but with the defenses, I think Alexander Madison is.
He's desperate.
He's desperate. He's 5,800.
He hasn't been good so far.
But the Chargers cannot stop the run.
Right.
And that's going to be a high-scoring game where he's going to get some catches. He's going to get it. And what's going to happen is if he gets you 17 points or plus, nobody else is going to have him in their lineup.
Agree.
And you get right there.
I don't know if you guys like narrative games, but there's some Cam Akers talk that is going around in terms of a potential suitor for Minnesota, right? Traded. What happens if Madison is thinking in the back of his head that his job could be on the line? You know, I mean, it's
His
possible.
job is on the line.
It's possible. So I'm sure he's looking in the rearview mirror, and if this is the game for him to do anything, it's going to be this game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, matchup is fantastic. You know, obviously at one of the highest totals on the board, if not the highest total. And I mean, this is positive game script for definitely for Madison. That's actually a smart call. All right, last call, guys. Paying down, and I don't know why I'm doing this because I guess I'm a glutton for punishment with this damn tight end position. But I've been on Dalton Kincaid since preseason. Okay, I talked him up, threw a bunch of stats at you guys. You know, talked about how much I liked him. I'm hoping, you know, that today. We have another injury report.
Hang on.
What happened?
Hang on. Okay. Well, our good friend, the Guru's Guru, he completely shot his credibility. He gave us an erroneous injury report, an overreaction. Pay no attention. Tony Jones Jr. and Taysom Hill still active.
That's what I thought.
Andrew's sources stay the same. Although I like the changes that I made, it enabled me to change to go in a different direction. Like your boy Dalton Kincaid,
I do like
replaced
him a
Taysom
lot.
Hill with Dalton Kincaid.
That's my guy today.
So we're going to stick with that. I didn't need to change Tony Jones Jr. at all.
Yeah.
So don't pay any attention to the Guru's Guru. That's it. I'm shutting that page down.
Done.
So go on.
He's not even on the show, and
I'm
he's
telling
contributing.
you.
All right.
It's just like, he's fired.
Yeah, he's
As
off
a
the show.
tight end, cheap tight end. What do you think about Zach Ertz? 3,500. He's getting a lot of targets, and they're going to be down.
The dude's ageless, and he's involved.
And they're going to be down.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
for
it's
3,500. I have him.
It's not a bad play at all.
And then I gave everybody. I like to give like a cheap stack, like I did last week with Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, and it ended up working out well. This week I'm going with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins or Robert Woods. Either one, if you pick, he likes to throw them to both, and you can get both of them for a combined 10,500, and that really opens up your lineup to pay up for Pollard, and then even pay up for Jefferson or Tyreek Hill.
Fair enough. Now he mentioned some certain coverage, maybe on Tyreek Hill. Is that worry at all today?
There is no covering Tyreek Hill.
No, because of the way
There's
Mike
just
McDaniel,
doing your best, and that's all you
Yeah.
can
the way Mike McDaniel runs the motion and the option is, he'll still get his catches. Now, maybe he won't break 100. He might have a 9 for 90 game and a touchdown. Like even last week, he still got 6 for 50 and a touchdown.
Yeah,
Is it? But Tyreek Hill's the most expensive player on the slate. So is it worth paying
Jefferson
up?
is more expensive than him.
Is he by $100 or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay, so you're paying $9,500 for Hill or whatever it is. My point
Did
is
you
that
get 27 from him today? I don't think so.
if we're talking about limiting his ceiling and yet we're still paying the premium price for, maybe that's not the optimal DFS play today. Now, season long is a different story. You got to play
Correct.
the
And
horses.
I'm just saying you might, but maybe so Hill or what about Diggs? I think Diggs is going to have a big game. You can get him for 8,800.
86, I
8,300,
think. Yeah, he's like
But
the fourth or fifth highest.
81. He's 81. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you can pay up for that if you go with a lower stack like Stroud and Nico. It worked really well for me last week when I had Baker and Evans in a lot of lineups.
Yeah.
It did really well.
So my core four guys going at it. I got Rither, I got Pollard, I got Brian Robinson for Washington, and Dalton Kincaid for Buffalo. It only comes out to 22.2K. Again, you get a 50K allowance on DK to build your lineup. So between these four guys, it allows you to put in some of the top guys we mentioned, the Diggs, the Jefferson, if you're high on Hill. These four guys got to get me 75 DraftKings points. And if I do, that's a 3.5x multiplier. And that's what I'm going for, because that's almost enough to take down a GPP. Last week, the top score in the Millie Maker was 212 points. So do the math. That's just slightly over 4x. Again, 50,000 being your base salary. So 212 points last week gets you $1 million. So, okay. I mean, 3.5x is not bad. Maybe some of these guys overperform, and I've got some bombs in there. Going with my core four, feel pretty good about it. So, Andrew, man, you're on fire, buddy. You're killing it. College pros, I mean, these picks have been rock solid. That should be on our rock solid, is your picks.
Last week I gave the two underdogs. They were asking for underdogs. Green Bay should have won. They lost late, but Washington was a money line winner, and if you took them, obviously Green Bay plus the points, they both won. So I'll give that first because I know people are asking me where you can get some cheap underdogs. Is the Saints plus 2 to 2.5, depending on where you're looking at. And then another team that, now I'm not going to say that they're going to win, but if you're looking for that, is Carolina. If you're looking for a live dog, it's Carolina.
Who's quarterback in that team today?
The Red Rocket.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. I'm pretty sure. Mr. Producer?
Who?
The Red Rocket.
The Red Rifle, you mean?
No, to me, today's a rocket.
Yeah.
Today's a rocket.
Because a red rocket is something entirely different.
It's a gun, isn't it?
It's a no. That's the.
It's more about I'm still on the.
That's the
anti-Geno
pump action
Smith.
Red Rider air rifle.
Red Rocket.
And forget it, kid. You'll put your eye out.
Today, he's a rocket. Okay. Today, Carolina, he's a red rocket.
He's just.
The Red
I just don't
Rifle,
like Geno-
Andy
I still don't like
Dalton.
Geno
and
Smith.
it's
I'm
Andy
still on
Dalton.
the. But I don't think they're going to win. But I think they're going to cover. And if you want a live dog, other than New Orleans is my live dog, and then I'm kind of going chalk today with the Survivor. I just take Jacksonville for the Survivor.
Speaking of Jacksonville, I'm catching some real-time inactives right now. Zay Jones, wide receiver.
Yeah, we knew
been
that.
ruled
Yeah,
inactive
we knew
out.
that. I mean, that just makes Kirk more of a play.
For those of you
maybe Evan Ingram.
wondering and worrying about DeAndre Hopkins, he is active. He is going to play.
But hobbled.
But hobbled.
And untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not
Gee,
on
why
DeAndre Hopkins'
why
side.
didn't everybody just break his door down to fucking go get him? Oh, sorry, I dropped an F-bomb, didn't I? But okay, so yeah, those are some of your actives in Savon Ahmed. Silence! I
Yeah,
kill
we-
you.
Not playing.
That's the reason why Devon Achane will be getting significant action for the Dolphins today.
Do you think that apostrophe thing in his name is on his jersey too, or they left it off? Because
Oh,
is
I'm
his
sure.
name like something with an
No,
what do you call
it's
that?
just going to be
An obelisk.
Yeah, no.
I'm not a grammar
it's
expert, but it's
an
something.
apostrophe.
Is it okay? All right.
Devon.
Okay.
That's culturally inappropriate.
Who is?
What's wrong with you?
I'm asking questions.
All right, so what were we on again? What was your next thing?
We covered it. We got Andrew's picks. We got my
Okay,
DFS
so that's
core
it.
4.
We're done. Okay, thanks for listening. No, that was it. No.
Sure. We talk about something else if you like to.
You don't want to start talking about something else because you look at these guys and you say the A word and they're just.
I'm
gonna
not.
be
Who
outta
said
here.
anything about aliens? Anything about aliens? I understand where they feel about the aliens. Don't worry. Listen,
right.
week 3 of the NFL. All right, guys.
Bananas.
Season-long leagues. I know we're all vested. We talk mostly DFS and gambling. Some of the guys that we use in DFS or that we don't use in DFS.
I have a question for you guys, maybe because you like DFS. What do you guys think about Zach Moss today? They released Deion Jackson. Evan Hall is on IR.
What does it cost on the? What does it
50,
cost?
5,300.
300. I thought 56. Yeah.
So he's got to get you close to 16 fantasy points.
Opportunity.
I can see it. Probability is low, but I can see it.
Well, who else is going to get it?
Maybe nobody. Nobody has to get. I mean, maybe they run the ball a lot and he just doesn't get anything. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I could see it potentially happening. This isn't out of the realm of possibility.
Because I've been back and forth on him and Kenneth Walker because
Love Kenneth Walker today.
Carolina has a bad run defense. They're going to
Yeah,
pass defense.
they're
they have a
terrible.
bad
They're
run
horrible.
defense.
Terrible.
That'd be a good play. It's a flyer, but you could do it. I got one thing. If you guys want to just talk about something real quick, because I got people asking me who to pick here, and I'm going to go
Vamp it up. Go.
Dallas, Arizona -12. You guys picking? You guys cover? These are just the two big spreads of the day that people are having hard times picking against. Dallas or Arizona.
If this
with
was an
Dallas
NBA game and it was the same spread, I'd take the home team. Just because Dallas probably coming in here. I mean, are they as fired up as if they were playing the Eagles or the Giants? They just came off a big game last week. I mean, what's the motivation factor here? They're clearly the better team.
They just got to keep winning because Philadelphia is going to keep winning.
But they don't have to win by 13 points. That's my point. So these big lines in the NFL, it's tough to give up that many points in the NFL.
And you guys are both taking the Chiefs with 13 points. They win by 2 touchdowns against Chicago. I think we see the old Fields with all the comments being made. I think his coaches go, okay, you do better, go run.
I'm not
Run your
sure
ass
I'm
off.
on the Chiefs in that game.
Yeah,
Matter of fact,
not.
I think
I'm trying to take Chicago on this one.
I think the worst case is the Bears backdoor that line.
Yeah.
Because again, he is going to want to continue to push as far as he can, as long as he can, even if it's just for stats.
By the way, that happened a lot
Jump
last
time
week.
touchdown. All of a sudden at 17, all of a sudden
Is
turns
10
into 10.
and you're inside the number.
Oh, what the
you're an
Rams did
idiot.
last week. Didn't they kick like a BS field goal?
Yes,
and
to
totally
get
ruined
inside the
spread?
line,
It's
yeah.
like this happens
Yeah.
a lot. It does.
What do you mean legal gambling is
Yeah.
going to affect the game? What are you talking about?
So
I
it's
have no idea.
These big lines are tough to lay. I'm not laying them both today. I think I'm going to probably lay the Dallas line, and I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
probably
like that
take
Dallas line.
Probably taking the Bears.
And
If
then
you
the
really
other one
want-
is Jacksonville and Houston. Jackson's 9. Their offense has not looked good. I got to be honest with you. It's a little bit of a
Yes,
surprise.
but Zay Jones is out. That's
So
a
you
bad
think
thing.
9 is a lot with one of your big
Nine is
primetime
nine is a
pitchers?
lot with one of your
Remember we
receivers
talked
out,
about
but-
Houston being number 1 in terms of fantasy production for the quarterback verse. So they're the hardest to score against in terms of quarterback production.
Yeah.
This isn't the
D'Amico
exact
Ryan's
week.
head coach, maybe.
This isn't the exact week for Jacksonville to get right passing the football. Now they do have some injuries in the back end. I did hear coming in they've got a corner and a safety that's out. That could be the difference. But with him mentioning the coach, their success is not just player based; it's scheme based. So whatever they do it well. Maybe this is more of an ETN game as opposed to looking for who's getting the targets with Zay Jones being out, a Kirk or a Ridley or something like that. So maybe this is something to lean in towards an ETN in terms of maybe getting the most fantasy production.
And listen, and with Dallas, and let me set you all straight about something with Dallas, okay? The big difference between Dallas this year rather than the other 2 years is that Mike McCarthy is calling the plays. It's offensive balance. It's consistency. So, has anybody noticed that Dak Prescott was he thrown 1 interception?
He's been good.
They're
this
not
year.
asking him to do much either.
They're not-
though.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
don't cost us the game.
Exactly.
And we're good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of like Derek Carr in New Orleans.
Efficiency.
Just do your job. and manage the
McCarthy
game.
is keeping the offense efficient. That's going to cut down on Dak's turnover. Prescott's not going to have 10 interceptions this year. He's just not. It's going to be like 25 and 10. Okay, and they're going to run all over people, and that defense is going to maul people. I'm a huge believer in Dallas making a whole lot of noise. They could even be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. They
I want
really
to
could.
I want to defend Dak Prescott to some degree because
To some degree.
Don't
get crazy.
How many quarterbacks in the NFL can we really say that we don't want them to be game managers? That we can say, okay, guys, here's the playbook, go win us a game.
About 5 or 6.
I don't even think there's that many, honestly. Maybe 2 or 3 at this point. So when you look at a guy like Prescott, it's not a knock on him that, they don't want you to make a mistake or, they don't want you to take chances. He's an NFL quarterback, and he's a good NFL
No, I think
quarterback.
that more is the not taking chances is when you have a good team around you. I think that's because other than maybe Mahomes or somebody, you don't want it because your defense is good and solid. And that was the big difference between Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers is coming in is you're going to have the quarterback that doesn't make the dumb mistake.
There's a bigger difference than just that. I mean,
Yeah,
Zach Wilson
just
and Aaron
watch
Rodgers.
today's game.
Yeah.
Watch
But I
today's
do
game.
understand what you're saying.
Did you watch Aaron Rodgers last year?
I'm not a Rodgers guy either, but he's certainly not Zach Wilson. But I agree with the logic, what you're saying. It's again, we call them, they're either Patrick Mahomes or they're game managers. And that's not a fair assessment, I feel. There are game managers in the NFL.
Desmond Ridder?
As long as he game
You walked
manages
into
me,
that one.
as long as he game manages me 20 fantasy points, I'm happy. I don't really care how he gets there.
I'll say the difference is like, where would you put Jared Goff? He's in that.
He's more of a gunslinger.
he's
He's
in-
a gunslinger, but you want him to make a few less mistakes.
Jared Goff to me is in the second tier of quarterbacks. He's in that next tier of guys.
Gunslinging game manager.
That would-
He's the guy that if he made a few less mistakes, I think the Lions would be better.
Jared Goff has 1 interception in his last 12 games.
Yeah, but he has a lot of fumbles and he makes a lot of bad decisions.
He's not-
Takes sacks.
he's not
It's
flashy.
not all about turnovers. Look at the sacks that he takes.
Okay.
Remember, it's not all about turnovers. On third and two, instead of
he's
going
not
the short,
flashy. No, he's not flashy.
third and two, instead of going for the short route, sometimes he wants to go deep. 4th and 2, he goes for the home run instead of Jamal Williams last year and DeAndre Swift last year right there for a 3-yard gain. Those are the type of things, and those are the type of quarterbacks.
So he
that
has
I
some
think-
brain fog moments, Jared Goff.
And I think that's what Dak was doing, and this year he's doing better. I don't think it's about being a game manager. I think it's about not making the dumb. It's not always about interceptions. It's about making
Don't
the bad
do something
sack.
stupid.
You can still this year. Dak Prescott holds onto the ball too long last year. He held onto the ball too long. He would make the bad decisions. I think sometimes we focus too much on turnovers and not just making the right throw or the right.
I'd rather have a guy hold the ball too long and get through his progressions and fail than a guy that loses it after the first read. There were guys that locked onto their first read.
Like a Justin Fields.
You-
Can't
you-
read defenses. Can't
A
go
lot
through
of problems,
progressions,
yeah. I mean, so knocking a guy for taking sacks, I mean, again, it could be decision making, but there's always variables that we don't see play by play. That when we come up with the statistic, it's a sack, it's a completion. There's 100 variables that go into every single play. So good points, fair points. But again, my point was there's only one or two guys, in my opinion, that you can say go win a game. Okay, at this point in the NFL, even though that's everybody's goal, and it's not just the quarterback; it's Andy Reid and the coach. It's maybe Jalen Hurts and his situation there, but it's the rest of the guys, and there's probably 10 or 12 of those other guys that I would not mind having as my starting quarterback week after week, honestly. So that's just my feeling on that. So I'm going to go home and I'm going to take my Dak Prescott jersey out of the closet and I'm going to put it on.
It's in the closet.
And I'm going to no, I have no Dak Prescott jersey. So
I would assume it'd be a Desmond Ritter jersey.
I have a Desmond Ritter jersey. When Desmond Ritter goes for 20 fantasy points today, guess who's getting the first phone call? Guess who's getting the first phone call?
Just don't make it a group text. Whatever you do. You know what drives me nuts? You know what drives me nuts is the manufacturer tag of the heritage tag on that banner over your left shoulder there, Johnny. That drives me nuts.
It makes it authentic.
Who cares?
It's authentic.
Take it off.
Authentic.
It's like the stupid sticker on hats.
On the hats, I was just.
Oh my god! And the dangling tags like, oh look, oh so what you're saying is you paid for it? Oh, good for you. All right, so that's going to wrap things up for us for this week. We're not going to be here next week, correct? We're all going to be off and away.
I'll be in North Carolina.
You'll be in North Carolina.
You're going to Gonzo?
No, I'm not going to be gone, but two big shots are going away for vacations. Matt's going on his 9th vacation of the year, and Andrew's going. What is
My
it?
cousin's getting married.
Oh, Mazel Tov! Hey, good.
It is. Yeah.
So I don't know. I might actually sleep until 9:00 next Sunday. Who knows? All right. Oh, he's got to go. He's got to go take a call. Well, no, it's okay. We're leaving.
We're done.
So thanks for watching the show. Make sure, like I said, tune in on Facebook to the Facebook group and the Facebook page, the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. That way you keep up with all the valuable information because our contributors are going to let you know exactly what it is that'll give you the edge with fantasy, daily fantasy, league fantasy, and of course wagering. So on behalf of myself and the bald guy and the guy out of the nope, you're not in the picture. Nope. Hey, cut that out. Hey, come on. I got enough cameras for everybody.
I got
Jeez,
some
these kids. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks here live on the Gonzo Radio Network at the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Catch you guys later. No, the camera's off. Go away.